So today we're going to be talking about Manageflitter. And Manageflitter is a Twitter managing tool. And it is a tool that is used to be able to grow your business account, as well as be able to create ways to be able to manage multiple accounts depending on what you are working on in your own business. I have used Manageflitter for a while now, and I wanted to give you a little bit of insight into what Manageflitter is and what it can be used to do. Now, about a year and a half ago, I had found that I was kind of maxing out on the number of followers that I had on my Dad of Divas Twitter account. I had about 11,000 Twitter followers, and I would grow incrementally and be able to be able to get a few here and a few there. But I found that it wasn't exponential growth. And the conversations I was having were okay, but they weren't great. They weren't engaging. And I wanted to find a way to be able to find people that would not only appreciate the content that I was sharing, but also be able to have a way to be able to engage with these people in a new way as well. And part of that was to grow, because brands kept asking me, how many Twitter followers do you have? How many followers do you have on other social media networks? And as all of you probably know, you have to really delve deeply into, a lot of times, one social media, master that, and then be able to grow that before you can grow many. So I really jumped into using Manageflitter. Now, I want to show you the inside of Manageflitter, because what I've come to find is that with Manageflitter, that as I said, it is a tool that connects directly with your Twitter account. So you have to put in your account to connect in. And I have 3 Twitter accounts. So basically for me, I manage this, and it not only will show you from the very get-go, and I'll show you my Dr. C. Lewis account. This is my professional account that I use. And on this account, you can see, of all the people that I have, I've got 1,400 people that aren't following me back right now. And you could just say, oh, let's just drop them all. Well, but sometimes it takes people a little bit of time before they'll follow you back as well. And sometimes people will never follow you back either. And that's okay. But what this allows for you to do, just on the forefront, not even into some of the powerful tools that this has, it gives you the opportunity to be able to not only see who's not following you back, but you can also delve a little bit deeper and say, well, who's out there that doesn't have a profile image? Well, I only have 2 right now. Or who are non-English people that might not be even speaking on their Twitter feed in English. And unless you are multilingual, that might be an issue for you. You can check and see activity levels. You can go even deeper, and you can see, based on order, when did you follow them, their influence, a spam score. You can look for fake accounts, people that have fake followers. And they have a metric for identifying fake followers. So it allows for you to get a much cleaner Twitter account. And as most business owners know, with Twitter, there is a metric. And there's a metric of following versus followers that you have to keep. And there's a ratio that you have to keep. And that's why sometimes people say, I've hit my limit, or I've hit the bar. And you have to watch that. You can mute specific people. You can mark specific people to never unfollow. If there are specific people that you say that you never want unfollowed, you can put those in there. Now, one of the things, though, that is the power mode, and this is where the kind of the rubber meets the road, and this is where some of the powerful pieces are in Manageflitter. And you can have a free account in Manageflitter, but it only allows you to do so much. It really doesn't let you get into the power mode. It lets you see and see who your followers are, or not unfollow some people, but it really doesn't let you get into the power mode. Now, the power mode allows for you to truly grow your base. And it is incremental. But I'll tell you that if you follow a metric of daily activity, you will see growth. And I'm not calling this fake growth, because it isn't fake growth, because the idea here is that you are looking for accounts. And on this, you can see here, you can see that I've collected some, because my professional account is all about higher education and working in higher education. And there are some specific people and also some specific accounts in my local area that I want to be able to follow people that have an affinity to those specific people. So, for example, I work at Western Michigan University, Cooley Law School. And as a part of working there, I want to be able to see, okay, who really likes Western Michigan University, Cooley Law School? Because I'll be putting out some information on my own Twitter feed on this channel about legal education and things like that. So I could go in here and I could say, and based on the setup that I have created, and I'll show you kind of what I have done here. If I go up to the top, data source required, so you can see you have a number of different things that you can select here. So for these situations, you can see that I selected that I wanted to see users that are following Cooley Law School, and I wanted to find up to 20,000 people. Now, they don't have 20,000 followers, but I just put that down. But then I did some optional criteria, because there were specific things that I wanted to see when it came to this. So, for example, I wanted to see active users. I didn't want to see people that had created an account and then done nothing with it. I wanted to see profile images. I don't want people that don't take the additional step to put a profile in there. I want English-speaking individuals. I said unprotected accounts, no pending follow requests, so people that don't have a ton of follow requests out there, people that are not offensive, because I don't have an interest in getting into that. People that I've never followed before. That's important, because you don't want to keep on following and you don't want to keep following or unfollowing people, the same people, because they get upset about that. And then you can go even deeper. So if you look further down, you can say that maybe you want to find people with friends between, like I have here, 0 to 10,000. People that have been listed from 3 to 10, over 10 million times is what I put down here. I put down a following to follower ratio, a specific following to follower ratio that I wanted to follow specifically here. I wanted to see a certain number of tweets. So not somebody that created an account 2 years ago and has tweeted 2 times, but I wanted someone that is actually doing something with the account. And I wanted someone that had been on for a little bit of time. Not a brand new account. I wanted someone with a little bit more robust background. And I wanted a low spam probability, because I really don't want my account to be spammed, filled with spam in that regard. So then the idea is, once you create this and once you identify who those other accounts are, what you are trying to do is find people that would have an interest in the content that you're sharing. So some of this you may be thinking is investigative in regards to the businesses that are similar to your own, and it's true. But once you create this and you identify the different accounts that you think would have similar people and people that would have an interest in yours, all you have to do is this. And I can go down here, and I can go, and there you go. Oops. There. So you can see, I just followed on my Dr. C. Lewis account, I just followed 14 people. Now, there is a second part to this, and that is you have to keep your Twitter account clean. You can't just go in. You can typically go in and follow about 500 people a day. But you also, though, need to make sure that you are unfollowing people that choose not to follow back unless you truly want to follow their feed. Because you want to keep that ratio balance and not just follow every person and expect them to follow you back, because that's not going to be the case. So it is a process of following, unfollowing, and keeping your account healthy. Now, one of the things that I've set up here is one called Not Following Back. And this is another one that I created. And again, it's just users that I'm following, but that aren't following me. And I can go in here and you can break it all down. I didn't put any other things except for those two criteria. And I can see here I've got 1,402 people that are not following me. So what I tend to do is I will look at this and I will say, okay, I want to know based on the date that I followed. You can see 1 minute ago, so I don't want to undelete them. But I can go in here and I can say, see, some of these will give you a day, but see, 34 days ago. I tend to go through and I'll go through and I'll say, I'll go through and I'll just go unfollow a bunch of these. And I tend to say, I give people about 7 to 8 days to follow me back. And if they don't follow me back, then for me, that is an indicator to say that they really don't have an interest in the content that I'm sharing. And then I'm going to move on. And I'll just go through every once in a while and I'll try to keep up with it and I'll delete them. And I'll go through and it can take about, I'm going to say 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes a day for all three of my accounts for me to do this. But as I said at the beginning, I started with 11,000 followers on my Dad of Divas account. I'm over 52,000 now. And this is true growth. And if you look at my spam score, it's very low. They're real people. They are engaging. And the content that, it's getting shared to a much higher extent than it ever was. So I mean, just in that amount of time that you and I have been talking, I just unfollowed 300 people. So it's a much easier, more intuitive way to be able to find people not only to follow, but people to unfollow as you're going through. Now I want to show you the dashboard because those are only part of the things that this can do, and this is part of it. I do have a professional account, which is I want to show you what the plans are. So on the pro account, it's $12 a month. And it can give you up to, I believe it's 5 accounts. And as it says, it's good for small businesses. The freebie account, as I said, is only a limited. And, you can do account cleanup and you can grow your account, but only up to a certain number per day. Whereas the pro takes off the limits. And then you also can get on the pro account analytics. You can also do tweeting and engagement with limited features. So unless you go up to the $49 a month, you're not going to get the full array in that regard. But the analytics is pretty robust. I can see that I can see here that on Dr. C. Lewis anyways, I've got 4,033 followers. I've got 4,149 people that are following me, or that I'm following, and that I've got 4,033 followers. This is one of my smaller accounts, so I've only tweeted 2,187 times. It's got a 5% spam probability, and which, if you can look here, it says that accounts over 50% are considered to be spam. So, I mean, you can see I have a very low spam probability in that regard. And, I've been listed, it looks like 60 times. So now this number is going to change if I go over to Data Divas. If I go over to Data Divas, you can see the numbers are very different. I've got 91,000 tweets. I've got over 52,000 followers. I've got a 0% spam probability. And, my influence is much higher on this one. So you can see it's different. So I'm trying to show you just kind of behind the scenes here of some of the things that you can get with this, because it is pretty robust. You can even go deeper into tweet analytics, and you can follow specific hashtags. So I've been following My Dad's in the Limelight series, and I can follow the hashtag on that. It's not that I use it very often, so that might not be the best hashtag to use, but you can follow up to, I think it's 3 hashtags in that regard. And then it even can give you some history, and it can show you the people that have unfollowed you, followed you, people that you unfollowed, people that you followed, in the whole history of the account since you've been using it. They also even have some remote management type of tools. I don't use this, but it is something that you can do, and you can pay them to actually do what I just said. And you can say, I want you to follow 500 people a day based on these criteria. So if you don't want to spend the 15-20 minutes a day to do it, you can pay someone to do it, and they will do a certain number of things as well. So as I said, it is a powerful tool. It is something that I would recommend for anyone to take a look at, especially on the free side, because it is something that I think you'll find is very intuitive, as well as a tool that will help you to be able to grow your Twitter account to a level that you didn't even think you could.